Walking into Safeway, the security is there and he starts walking right behind us. First, I didn't think anything of it. I thought he was just going somewhere. I do a turn and this man is still following us. It was me, my cousin, and also my youngest cousin and her little friend. They were about 13, so I am super overprotected. And I was like, dude, let me find out this man is just being a pervert and like looking at our butts since he's behind us. So I'm already pissed, right? I go to the bread section because I'm trying to grab some bread. This man stands right in front of me. And I look at him and I tell him, what can I help you with? Why are you following us? And he just says, because I can. And I tell him, I'm like, I'm just trying to grab my food. I'm with my underage cousins. And I don't feel comfortable that you're following us for no reason at all. And then he tells me because we look suspicious. How the hell do we look suspicious? Was it the walk that made us suspicious? Because this man started following us right away.
So when I was in middle school, there was this new girl on the bus, right? And the way that I went home was no one else's way home. So I'd always walk alone by myself. So this girl, the new girl on the bus, she actually had to go my way. So I was like, oh, cool, friend. So we used to walk every day to our houses together. Until one day, my brother, and we lived in apartments at the time, the apartments next door, he was climbing the fence over to get over on that side. And he saw me, he was like, hey, Monet. I was like, hey, what's up? Da, 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 da. And he's like, you going home? And I was like, yeah, I'm going home. He's like, all right, get back in safe. And the girl looked at me so scared. She was so scared, nervous, bug-eyed. And she looks at me, she's like, who was that? And I was like, that was my brother. And mind you, my brother is he's a very dark-skinned man. And she just like looked at us. So she looked at me, she was like, I thought you were Hispanic. And I was like, girl, no, I'm not. So she was like very surprised, very shocked, and she was like, your brother's black. And I was like, yeah, because I'm black. And she just was very, very confused. And she was like, do you guys have like the same parents? I was like, we have different dads, but he's still my brother. And this was the first ever experience I've ever had quite like this. So the next day, when we got on the bus to, get off and go home, she did not talk to me. She actually she started going a different way after that because she was so scared and like angry at me still. I don't even understand to this day, but like I think that was racism. I think I experienced racism. So yeah, I've never saw her again. She would always like eye me down when we were in the hallways, but she wouldn't say anything to me anymore. So yeah, fuck that beat.
I literally want to cry. So if you didn't know, I have a sister and her name's Ashley, and we both have boyfriends. And every night we both fall asleep on the phone with our boyfriends. So one day we're all hanging out and we're like just talking. And my sister's boyfriend looks at me and he's like, you need to stop going into your sister's room in the middle of the night. And I look at him and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't have a reason to go into her room. Like I don't go into her room, especially in the middle of the night. Then my boyfriend hops in the conversation and he's like, no. He's like, no, I hear Ashley go into Kayla's room every night and stare at her. So me and my sister both look at each other and we're like, we don't go into each other's rooms, do we? And we agreed that we do not. And they said this has been going on for months. So for months, somebody or something has been going into me and my sister's room for about 15 minutes every night and watching us sleep. But it only gets worse.
One day, my cousin made a Tinder, and we were having a family barbecue, so he came over. He was like, oh my god, Sam, like this really hot girl just like matched with me. And then he shows me. And then I see the profile, and it's literally pictures of Madison beer. But the name on the profile was like Kalani. I was like, bro, I don't know who you think you're fucking texting, but it's not Madison beer. You're texting someone's fucking auntie right now. Whole ass auntie. He's like, guess we're about to find out. I was like, no, no? He's like, yeah, I just gave her the Addy. She's about to pull up. Like, we're gonna meet. Like, it's all cool, Sam. Like, trust me. Trust me, he said. Okay. I trusted him. So I see a car pull up, and he's like, oh my god, I think it's her. I was like, oh shit, what if I do meet Madison Beer? The door freaking opens, and this old lady pops up. I look at my cousin, and I'm like, go hug her. Go. You were so excited. It's Kalani, the one and only. Come on.
Story time about how I caught my dad doing the dirty with my best friend. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. My mom and dad have been married for 30 years. My dad started modeling when he was really young, and he still does it to this day. Every single time that I would bring a friend over to my house, they would always talk about how cute my dad is. It never annoyed me at all because I was so proud of my dad, but it really bothered my mom. So out of respect for my mom, I would just tell my friends not to say anything. My mom is definitely the jealous type. My best friend and I have known each other for about 3 years. She was the new girl at school and we became friends, and ever since then we've been inseparable. She always comes over to my house, we have sleepovers, and my family really likes her. My mom even takes her shopping with us and buys her tons of stuff. She always comes with us to get manicures and pedicures and facials as well. A few years ago, my mom told me that my dad wasn't faithful to her, and it really upset me. Basically, my mom couldn't trust him at all. And ever since then, I've kept an eye on him as well. One day I came home early from work. I see my best friend sitting on the couch with my dad. She was kissing his neck. When they saw me, they got up from the couch part to see my best friend kissing my dad on the neck. And when they both saw me, they jumped off the couch right away. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. My best friend said, "Oh, you're finally home." And my dad literally just walked toward the kitchen like nothing had happened. My best friend walks toward me to give me a hug, but I stop her straight in her tracks. I asked her why she was kissing my dad's neck. She laughs and said, "Of course I wasn't." And then I said, "I just saw it." And she said that she was just thanking him for all the stuff my mom and dad do for her. Right, I was not buying it. My dad didn't even look me in the eyes after that. I decided not to question her any further, but I was really angry with my best friend. After that, I was totally convinced that there was something going on between them. So I decided to set a trap. I told my mom and dad I would be at work all day and that I would be home really late. And I told my best friend the same thing and that I wouldn't be able to hang out with her. I knew that my mom would be at work all day, which meant that my dad had the house all to himself. I said bye to my dad, but I sneaked back into the house and hid in my room all day. Then I started hearing voices. It sounded just like my best friend. I opened my dad's bedroom door and there they are on the bed doing the dirty. Disgusting. Part 3 is up. I walk in on my dad and my best friend doing the dirty. They had no clothes on and they were doing it in my mom's bed. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. Because I am so intelligent, I recorded the whole thing on my phone. My father had the audacity to yell at me and tell me to get out of the room. I said no way. Best friend starts dressing herself frantically, begging me for forgiveness. Then my dad tells her to keep her mouth shut. Well, I don't hesitate for 1 second and I send my mom the video that I just recorded. My dad pulls the phone away from me and throws it at the wall. Then he starts trying to negotiate with me. He said, "If you don't tell your mom, I will never do this again, I promise." Told my best friend to go downstairs and wait for me on the couch. My dad starts putting on his clothes and by the time he's done, my mom is home. Of course, my mom went off on my best friend telling her how ungrateful she was. She asked my dad for a divorce. A few days later, I get a message from another friend. She tells me that she also did that with my dad. Since then, 4 other women have told me the same thing. They all go to college with me, so none of them are underage, thank God. My dad is begging my mom back, but she doesn't know what to do. We're both just in shock.